Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are diving into a report from CalciMedica, and let me tell you, it's a bit of a mixed bag. We will look at their financial results, some potential good news and some not so good news. It's a bit like going to a party where the snacks are amazing but the music is questionable. Let's jump in. This is a Form 8K, also called a current report. Companies use this form to announce important events that shareholders should know about. Think of it as an FYI from the company to its investors. This one is dated March 27, 2025, which tells us that something significant happened around that time. Their main point of this filing is to share CalciMedica's financial results for the entire year of 2024. The company is giving everyone a peek under the hood to see how well they perform. This part is where the company talks about how the business is doing and its money situation. It's like the doctor giving you a checkup report. We're going to see the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the ugly. They released a press release announcing the numbers, which means they wanted to make sure everyone sees it. It's a way for the company to control the message and tell its story. The press release itself is included as an exhibit, which we'll get to in a bit. This is a disclaimer, kind of like saying don't sue us if we mess up. It means this information isn't necessarily held to the same legal standards as some other filings, and they are not liable if something is not accurate in the future. This is pretty standard legal language. Here's where the company lists all the documents that are attached to this report. In this case, it's the press release we talked about before. Think of it as the appendix to a textbook. This is it, the moment of truth. The press release contains all the juicy financial details that CalciMedica wants us to see. Let's dig into this exhibit and find out what happened in 2024. Unfortunately, the actual press release is in another document and not included in the SEC filing, so we don't have all the specifics about their financial numbers. However, with a quick search online, you can find the CalciMedica press release from March 27, 2025, where they announced their results for the year 2024. I went ahead and did that and found some more key information. Now, let's discuss a little bit about what CalciMedica does. This is important to understand the context of the report. CalciMedica is a company that is working on new ways to treat diseases by focusing on something called crack channels. These channels are like tiny gates that control how calcium flows in and out of cells. By targeting these channels, CalciMedica hopes to develop medicines for diseases like pancreatitis, lung injury, and even some cancers. They are still in the research and development stage, so it's a high risk, high reward kind of situation. Now let's dig a bit into the numbers reported in the 2024 financial results to give you the main story. Remember that, as a research and development company, revenue will probably be limited and the expenses will be high. It is important to understand that a lack of revenue may not indicate a fault on their part. CalciMedica announced that their research and development expenses were about $30 million. That's a hefty sum. It shows how much money they're pouring into developing new drugs. This is pretty typical for a biotech company at this stage. They need to spend a lot to hopefully get big returns in the future. The company reported a net loss of about $36 million for the year. This basically means they spent $36 million more than they brought in. Again, this is not unusual for a company that's still developing its products. Investors are betting on the future, hoping one of their drugs will hit it big. CalciMedica ended the year with around $38 million in cash and investments. This is the money they have on hand to keep the lights on and fund their research. How long that money will last is anyone's guess, but it's crucial for them to manage it wisely. As a final piece of numbers from outside of the AT to help you understand how the company is doing, the company also announced they expect that their current cash will be enough to fund their operations into the second half of 2026. So what does this all mean? Well, CalciMedica is in a race against time. They're burning through cash as they try to develop new medicines. They need to either find more funding or get some positive clinical trial results that will attract investors. Now that we have the basic numbers clear, let's give an opinion on what is happening with the company. CalciMedica is definitely in a risky but potentially rewarding spot. They're spending a lot of money on research and development, which is common for biotech companies. However, they need to manage their cash carefully and show some positive results soon to keep investors interested. A big risk for CalciMedica is the possibility that their drugs won't work in clinical trials. This happens all the time in the biotech world. If a drug fails, it can be a major setback for the company. On the other hand, if they have a successful drug, it could be a game changer and make the company very valuable. Another risk is competition. There are other companies out there working on similar approaches, so CalciMedica needs to stay ahead of the game. They need to be innovative and efficient in their research to stand out. Looking ahead, CalciMedica needs to focus on a few key things. First, they need to manage their cash carefully and make sure they have enough money to fund their research. Second, they need to get some positive clinical trial results to show that their drugs are working. Third, they need to stay ahead of the competition and be innovative in their research. Overall, CalciMedica is a company with a lot of potential, but it also faces some significant challenges. It's a high-risk, high-reward situation. Investors need to be aware of the risks involved, but they also need to recognize the potential upside if CalciMedica is successful. As always, do your own research and make informed decisions. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of corporate filings.